Hello everyone, Krydax here, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-1. When we last left off, I was trying to figure out how the heck we're gonna get some science. So I kind of played around last night designing a whole new craft. Well, it's not whole new. We started with the carpenter ant, but we made some changes. So let's kind of start with this part. I just was like, we need science. We need all the film and we need all the advanced biological. So science-wise, the basic film camera, as far as I can tell, it includes the planetary photography. So we're gonna get the science from both of these basically when I return the science from this. It also only has 2.5 samples. So I decided to take 2 of them because then that gives me 5 samples worth of science that I can collect. Rather than just 2.5. Now, that may have been a bad idea because that has made this craft really hard to get into orbit. We'll get to that in a minute, but kind of just walking through the design here, I went with like, let's just return the avionics, a parachute, and a heat shield, right? Because that's the minimum required to be able to bring the samples back. And so this is the goal to return. And then we need to deorbit that somehow. So that has a decoupler. It has a little RCS block. So we got our isogrid tank with nitrogen here is the basic RCS doodad. So that way this can orient itself and get ullage so that we can ignite this aerobie. And that's a hollow cylinder here. So that's kind of like pushed up in. So it's a little bit smaller. So that's what all that's about. That's just so it can return itself from a very low orbit. It's only got 300 delta V, you can see. So it's not meant to do all that much, but it slows you down just enough so that you punch into the atmosphere and the heat shield can save you. Now, what's interesting is there's some sort of optimization here between if you dive down into the atmosphere at a steeper angle, then you don't need as much heat shield because these heat sink ones basically just need to soak up a certain amount of heat. So yeah, it's kind of interesting because like if I add more fuel to this, then we probably need less heat shield. So I don't know exactly the right balance here. Like if I gave myself another couple kilograms of fuel, you know, maybe that would mean I would need less heat shield. I don't know. It's all very precarious right now. Like it's on the edge of a wire when I've simulated this. So then we've got 2 big solar panels. Now, why do we need that? Well, and I'm considering a couple things right now, but the reason we need that is because here we have our avionics, our near Earth avionics that is set to control 2.64 tons. Now you might be noticing that this upper stage is only 740 kilograms. And that's because we also need to control this part of the staging. And I guess there's a part of me that wonders if I should have a 3rd avionics, but that feels kind of ridiculous. But it would be nice to not have to return this one to the planet as heavy as it is, because if we could set it lower to only control 700 kilograms, that'd be a little easier. So I don't know, I'm still figuring some stuff out. But anyway, so the idea is we'll run the science, we'll use the RCS thrusters with MechJeb to point the solar panels at the sun. I've figured out how to do that in the simulations. And there's a little bit of extra battery here in a service module to balance out the torque from these solar panels. If you're not sure how to do that, I'll show you. Basically, you open up RCS build aid here, and then you kind of, you know, put your engine on there, and now you've got the stuff on one side, so you'll take the thing that's on the other side and you want this torque to be as small as possible. And so I think I actually made the solar panels a bit bigger recently, so maybe I can smush them slightly more in, because we do have a little bit of torque right now without clipping too much. That kind of all creates clipping. So then this guy, to reduce the torque, we'll have to make it a little bit longer, I think. Yeah. 0.01 kilonewton meters is probably fine. 0.008 if I move this slightly down. Yeah, I think that's 0.007 is good enough. Because this has a gimbal too, so a little bit of torque is fine. In fact, we might not even need this battery. It's kind of helpful because it gets the science done a little sooner. But if I didn't have it, we get another 30 delta V. So honestly, I might just go with no battery. Because a little bit of torque is fine there, and this has 1 megajoule in it, which is enough to run everything for, you know, while it's on the dark side. Granted, it's gonna run out of power pretty quick, so it's only gonna get, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'm not gonna worry about it. I think that will actually save me some delta V, and I'm happy with that. So then the rest of it, so this is our AJ10. I actually, you might judge me for this, but I went back to the Scud, but we went to the tier 2 Scud. And the reason I did that is because it's a much lighter engine. If you look at the differences here, it's much lighter with quite a bit more thrust. We go from 94 to 127, but only 65-second burn time. But overall, given that the engine's half the weight, that's pretty huge because the total Newton seconds that we produce is still pretty similar. So because it produces a similar amount of Newton seconds at a even technically slightly higher ISP, then obviously the fact that it's lighter is a good thing. So I'm going with that, and then everything below that is pretty much the same thing as the Carpenter Ant series, except you'll notice I have 2 big boosters here, 2 Castor boosters, just to get a little bit more delta V because we weren't quite getting enough. So this whole thing in a simulation was barely able to get to orbit. So what we're gonna do now, because I have made a couple tiny tweaks since the last time I simulated it, is we're gonna simulate the whole mission from start to finish. I also just realized I'm very unhappy because of this. I had forgotten we needed to get to a minimum altitude of 150 kilometers. In my tests of this, I've been going to 143 kilometers because I don't know if we can spare the delta V for 150. So it'll be interesting. We'll try it here and see what we get. It just barely has enough delta V. It's so close. Let's make sure the staging is correct here. So we light the LR-43 and we decouple the boosters and the launch rail, and then we go to the Scud, and then we will pop the fairings, and then we go to the AJ10, which then also needs to be hot staged, and then we pop that out, and then we're done, and the rest of it is manually controlled. Okay, so we're gonna save this, and we are gonna see, I would love to finish the early orbital speed, or reach orbital speed and return safely to Earth. If we could finish that contract as well, that would be really nice. And we technically still have 1.5 tons of weight, so I could add a little bit more fuel to this, but the problem is we're already past our time. We're at 140 seconds, so I would be going into more or less reliable territory with the engine. But maybe I just extend it like a smidgen. One smidgen. That gets me another 30 delta V. So I'll risk 1 smidgen for 30 delta V. And then we're not going to start in orbit because we've got the whole craft. I started in orbit with the upper stage just to test the deorbiting part. The other annoying thing about that, I will just as a side note, that you need to pay attention to, is if you're doing something like this where you're returning a bunch of samples, the samples have weight, right? So this is going to collect each of these film. The advanced biological one collects 1 sample of 10 kilograms, and then these collect 5 samples of 8 kilograms. So that's 50 extra kilograms that this little trio is going to be returning with. So you have to add a fake 50 kilogram weight, and even then it's not going to be at exactly the same center of mass. So I kind of wish you could simulate adding samples to an avionics, because you can't. So I'm not really sure the best way to do it, but I figured it was close enough, and so I put a lead ballast thing in there to simulate that. But we'll simulate the whole thing with the experiments right now, so it's no big deal. And let's see what happens. So yeah, I hope you guys aren't too miffed that I did some of that off camera. Again, I think it's helpful for me to do a little bit of work off camera. I learned a lot of things. That way I'm not fumbling around as much on camera, wasting literally an entire episode just simulating one mission over and over again. I want to find a balance with that, so I'm still not exactly sure the best balance. But anyway, MechJeb Ascent Guidance. Oh, by the way, look at this. It's disabled by default. How did that happen? Well, thanks to somebody on the Discord, they were able to point me towards a different FAR config file, which is not in the FAR folder. It's in the main game data folder. That's called like FAR custom config or something. And when you modify that file, you can change the preferred GPU to none, and then that way it starts disabled. So now I don't have to do that every time, which is wonderful. And yeah, let's pop open our Ascent Guidance. And we want to tell it a few things here. We want to tell it that we want early shot off stage to be 4, and last stage is 4. And I believe these were the numbers I had from my last launch, and they worked okay. I'm sure we could optimize it a little bit more, but let's try this. And then maybe I can get to 150. Let's see. It's 559. If I go to 151 here, that's an extra 30 delta V. No. Wait. 557 versus... Wait, it only uses 2 more delta V to get a apoapsis of 151? According to this, that's only like 2 delta V different. So let's go to like 153. So hopefully we can hit that margin. And then hopefully this can work. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. 3, 2, 1, launch. We got these big old boosters. And you notice it's not rotating. That's because I rotated the top avionics 180 degrees, so it's not spinning. These boosters are so loud. Zoom out a little bit. So yeah, I'm hoping that this launch goes well, and we can just pay for the whole thing, and we'll get a ton of science. But hopes and dreams are just that, and there's a good chance that this whole mission fails anyway because of an engine failure. So we'll see what actually happens. Alright, I'm gonna hyperwarp this part, not the most interesting. We're just kind of getting into a low angle here. It could be pitching over too fast, I'm not sure. Because you can see our prograde is dropping below. So if we look at our... Yeah, this could definitely be improved. What was that? That was weird. I wonder if it's because was it because I had flight recorder selected? Was that messing with things? What has happened here? Why did it stage those? Those are not supposed to be staged fairings. Those aren't even supposed to be capable of decoupling. Uh-oh, I screwed something up. Oh well, it still seems to be okay. Anyway, we've got negative 46 delta V. That is okay, because for whatever reason, this stage catches up a little bit with delta V. So we might still be okay. So we should see this starting to get a little bit less negative. Yeah. As this final upper stage burns. How's power, by the way? 872. Okay. Turn off RCS, because for some reason when I hyperwarp it messes with RCS. And then... yeah, we've got a little bit of excess delta V according to this. And there we go. That will be good enough to complete the contract for the reach surface velocity with a minimum altitude. And now what we do, one thing I wish is that you could quick save in a simulation. Can you? It said it was quick saving, but it then didn't tell me what the save was named. Maybe it does work. Huh. 58 to 11, 1257. No, that's a different. That's 1208. And that's 216. How do we have a quick save from the future? I have no idea. Anyway, we need to get MechJeb pointed towards the sun. So what you can do is head over here to the smart. I think that's attitude, something, stability, whatever. Anyway, the smartass, and we go to reference sun. Force roll 270. The only way I know that is just from testing this thing. And we gotta turn RCS back on. And then it will automatically use these little RCS thrusters to slowly orient the craft. Oh, I know why. I'm a dummy. These are... I didn't mean to remove from symmetry. No, I want to add it back to symmetry. I was trying to remove it from fore aft. So when I hit H, it doesn't. That one's still firing? Oh, they're all not symmetrical now? Okay, there we go. Anyway, this will get the panels pointed towards the sun. And then we'll kill rotation. Okay. And now we should have panels pointed towards the sun. Everything's happening. Our power is going to be negative. But that's okay, because the panels generate more power than the avionics uses, and that's the important part. So the science is going to take a while, but once the science is done, we will have an excess of power, which is what we need for the few minutes before we deorbit. So we're going to go ahead and grab the info for this photography. This should be good enough, because you can see here how many samples it has remaining and how many kilograms it has remaining. So then what we're going to do is we're just going to fast forward here real fast, and you can see those kilograms are going down, down, down. And our power is kind of iffy. But we'll wait until we have 0 kilograms left. Okay, so we've used up all of it, and we need to have some power here. So now we'll stop this one. And then we'll start this one. I guess those buttons don't work if you don't have control, but this one does. Okay, so now we have 20 kilograms left on that, which it will collect slowly over time. Get that until it has 0 kilograms. Takes a little while. Okay, there we go. So now we have all the kilograms, and the biological thing should be done as well. Yep. Technically still has 300 grams. I think that's because we already got a tiny bit in R&D. So this is all that we need. So now we'll go ahead and check out the data, and you can see all the data is in these other science thingies, But when I click transfer data here, boop, it all moves into here. And so now all the data is in that little avionics. And there's an extra 50 kilograms that we've added. And so now there's a few things we need to do. I'm gonna slow motion. So what all do we need to do? So thing number one that we need to do is, I mean, we can ditch this. I should have ditched that earlier. I don't know why I didn't. Thing number two is we have to change our rotation to retrograde. And then we can do ullage, fire off this, and then after the 10-second burn, then we do one last decouple, and then we're just good to go. So that's the idea. Easier said than done, because you need enough power to fuel this avionics, which is hungry hippo, and uses about 100 watts. So that means it uses a kilojoule every 10 seconds, right? And so we have to make sure we have at least 10 or 20 kilojoules worth of energy. Yeah, probably about 20. That's 200 seconds of control. Then we need to make sure we're doing this maneuver when we are over some sort of station. I don't know why sometimes the zoom is so slow. Oh, it's because I'm in slow motion. It slows the zoom down. Interesting. Anyway, this is actually a great spot because we are over a station and we're on the end of soaking up sun energy, so we have more power, you know? And so this is probably as good a spot as any to try to deorbit. So we're going to try to do that all at once here. So I'm going to go ahead and jettison this one by staging. Then I'm going to orbit retrograde. We don't need a specific roll. And I'm going to turn off slow motion because that probably messes with next jab. How did I get so much rotation? What the heck? Wow. We're having to use a lot of our nitrogen here. Hopefully we have enough. Alright, come on, slow it down. Wow. Well, that was not normal. That doesn't normally happen. What on earth? That's super weird. Huh. What the heck? How did that happen? Maybe there's some sort of glitch with slow motion? Doesn't seem like it. Because when I slow motion here, it's not like it then whips back to the other side. I wonder if the decoupling had way more force than I thought. Maybe I need to decrease that. Okay, we'll hyper warp here. Okay, so after that mess, we are now pointed retrograde. Where are we? Uh-oh. See, this is the problem, is we're about to go out of signal. So we gotta go fast. Our ullage is settled, so I'm just gonna ignite. Damn it. I waited like half a second too long. And now we have to do the whole test again. Can I quick save or quick load? I don't think so. Huh. Looks like I can quick save. Oh. Maybe. Yeah. That is off by 2 minutes, which is weird. Huh. But is this the same save? I can't tell. How many funds do I have? That's a way to tell. I have 32.99. So that's probably this one. It might be rounding the funds differently. So it seems like I can quick save while simulating. So I think I was just wrong about that. Anyway, unfortunately, I'm going to have to simulate this again, all because of that. So I'm going to revert to launch, and I'll get to do it all again, because we got to make sure we can return safely with the goods. So that's why we're simulating again. So I will go ahead and get back to the same spot. I'll pause the recording here and then return when we're there. Okay, we're back. Accomplished the science, so now we are going to grab transfer data here. And this time we're not going to screw it up. Okay, let's see if we can get that correct. We might need a little more power. 28 kilojoules is a bit iffy, and we're on the end of that. So what's the next place that we're going to have connection? It's gonna be right here. Perfect. Okay, and we have connection now. So now is our chance. We have 100 kilojoules. This is all great. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna rotate using the smartass to orbital retrograde. I already decoupled the thing earlier. And I did notice it did create a rotation when I decoupled it, though it wasn't as extreme this time. And like, that could be because of the torque, but I think I just need to decrease the decoupler force on that thing. It's way too powerful. I've already done it once even. Okay, so we can see our solar panels are... Although, they're still kind of pointing towards the sun, which is convenient, but... Anyway. So now we're facing retrograde, and you can see our fuel settledness here. Propellant is very stable, but soon that will start to decay. Here in about 2 seconds. Yeah, right there. So we have to... The H key is the 4 key, 4 versus aft. So we need to be kind of a little boosting to provide ullage. And then what I can do is ignite the engine and then decouple. Alright. Oh, and max throttle. There we go. Yeah, max throttle is kind of important with that. Alright, so this should deorbit us. And now... Yeah. So, if anyone knows how to fix this, I'd love to fix it, because 4x throttle is turned off, but something about what MechJeb is doing is still causing full throttle to turn on RCS, but I don't want that, and I can't seem to figure out how to change it, because there's even this smart RCS thing that I turned off. But no matter what I do, the throttle seems to cause the RCS thrusters to turn on. So I actually don't know. Oh. Has something to do with this? Smart translation has to be on? Huh. That's weird. But that seems to have fixed the throttle, causing it to move. But I would have thought that setting should be off. Anyway, okay. do our final decouple, and now let's see if we survive re-entry with this fat avionics that has an extra, you know, 50 kilograms of data in here. Plus, its controllable mass is for a much larger craft than this. So we shall time warp to the atmosphere, and then we shall hyper warp. We might be too shallow at negative 750 kilometers. We'll see. But if we survive, that's good news. All right, atmospheric drag is almost up to 0.5 meter a second, 1 meter a second, 2 meters a second, 5 meters a second, 10 meters a second. Okay, here we go. Now's when the drag starts ramping up quickly. The amount of air molecules that we're running into at 6,000 meters a second is increasing rapidly. Come on, baby. Keep me alive. That's a cool shot. Maybe like this. Oh, it's heating. Alright, we're slowed down to 5,700. Getting hotter. 5,500. Still getting hotter. 5,000. Ooh, it's getting close to blowing up. 4,600. 4,100. And I think we're safe around this point. One time it blew up, but then the parachute was able to slow me down a little bit, and it didn't blow up. So if the heat shield pops when we're at about 3,000, I think we're still okay. But yeah, we're fine now. Wow. Yeesh. That was tense. Okay, but it seems like it's enough. And like I said, we have a little bit of wiggle room. Even if the heat shield pops towards the end of the heating, the parachute can handle the rest. Now let's just make sure the parachute gets us safe onto the ground. And if so, we've got a successful science mission that should get quite a bit of data. Oh, right, you can't see the data if you don't have a connection. But I think it's gonna be like, I don't know, at least 50 science for this. So it'll be well worth it. Alright, 6.2 meters a second for the final landing. And it worked fine. Okay. And that completed the reach orbital speed and returned safely to Earth, which is gonna pay for quite a bit of monies here. It'll help pay for the flight itself. So that's good. Wow. Okay. It all worked. It all worked. So we'll go ahead and tool it. Still gonna take 100 days to finish. Oh, we need more kerosene and AK-27. Modify LC. Modify. And now I need to make sure it's saved. Leave. Wait till the LC is modified. Two days from now. Okay. And now we build the dang thing. Launch. No. Mid-satellites. Unlock. Oof. Oh yeah, we're using the new avionics type 2, the near-Earth avionics. Oh, you know what I just realized as well? This avionics is the old type. I could save myself, what is that, 70 kilograms? That only gives me like 30 delta V, but still, that's 30 delta V. 34 delta V that I could have had. But no, we don't need that. Don't save. Don't save that. Okay. The ladybug. I just thought of a new bug name to name it. Maybe I should have kept it a Carpenter Ant though, because it's a similar launch vehicle, but I changed it enough that it felt like maybe we should call it something new. I don't have a good naming convention. If you guys know of good naming conventions, let me know. Because there's a part of me that feels like I want to name them based on the launch vehicle. Like if I can make a vehicle that can take, you know, up to 1 ton to low Earth orbit, I should name those the same thing, and then each mission should be another number. So, you know, I think that's how real life did it, right? Like Atlas 1, Atlas 2, Atlas 3. And so if you launch the same thing but with a different satellite in it, that would be Atlas 4, you know, after 3. And so, but the hard part is it feels like I'm not consistent enough with anything. So I never know how to name these things. And we are running out of science to do, so I should queue up something else. The Mercury heat shield will help a lot with returning stuff, so I might actually do that next. I really need this science to get more science points. There's also some fancy new rockets here. I don't know. I kind of want to go with a heat shield just so I can have that. That feels pretty important. And now we're going to warp 104 days. That doesn't feel right. Oh, hold on. Are we fully staffed? No, we are not. Wait, we are. But how? How are we fully staffed? Because this is the heaviest vehicle I've ever launched, so shouldn't it be understaffed? Maybe it automatically assigned the max instead of what was previously assigned. Is it worth rushing this? No, surely not. Okay, well, I'm gonna warp. We'll start with 15 days. Scientists have just made a breakthrough. So crew science, if we have astronauts, that'll be nice. All right, 88 days. Till that's done. Our reputation's just tanking. Go ahead and roll it out. We're up to 54% efficiency though. So that's something. Okay. Well, here we go. Here we freaking go. Where are we at with programs? Oh my god, we're a year in and I haven't even touched lunar probes or commercial applications. This could be bad. This could be bad. Yikes. Well, last time I was really worried and then we were okay. So maybe we'll be okay. Well. Do we have the contracts? Reach orbital speed. Yep. Okay. Let's do it. Here goes nothing. Definitely gonna quick save. And I mean, the chance that this fails is unfortunately like pretty high. Just from a like statistics standpoint. 4. I'm not changing anything else. I'm not changing those. Engage autopilot. And 3, 2, 1, launch. And we gotta turn off RSS here so that doesn't mess us up later. Oh boy. Screenshot here. And we got decoupling. Beautiful. Goose is loose. And here we go. 40, 30, 20, 10. Ignition chance is only 86%. Oh gosh. Oh. I see what happened. I had the staging wrong. Okay. Well, that ended up working out okay. The simulation proved it worked out okay, so it wasn't that big of a risk, but it basically burned off the decoupler rather than decoupling, which wasted a bit of delta V, I think. But the simulation said that if the engines don't fail, we have a successful mission here, so that's the hope anyway. Alright, I'm gonna hyperwarp a little bit here. And stop. Okay, on to the next stage. Please don't fail me now. Thank God. Oh, my heart's beating so fast. Okay, don't fail, please. This one has actually a decent chance to fail at some point during the burn. So far so good, so far so good, so far so good, so far so good. And we've got a little bit of spare delta V according to this, just a tiny bit. So we should get into our desired orbit. And there we go. 143, 152. Perfect. Oh my. Okay, I'm gonna quick save again. And now we're gonna decouple this. Why are there two decouple buttons? Oh, interesting. So it feels weird with more weight on this side. If you pushed up on the bottom, wouldn't it cause the whole thing to rotate towards the left? The comm is over there. No, I guess the comm is over on the right side, and then you push up on the bottom. How would that work? No, I think it should be rotating the other way, shouldn't it? I've confused myself now. Because if it's heavier over here and you push up on that side, the whole thing should be rotating this way. Interesting. I don't really know. We don't have all day, though. We need to have MechJeb orient towards the sun. If we ran out of juice, that would be the worst thing ever. So 270, execute. Turn on the RCS. And then I will hyperwarp here. And it gets the perfect facing, which is just really satisfying to watch. And then kill rotation off. You notice when I hit H, it is doing something. Interesting. That's because fore aft is on. But it's like, look, it's not actually turning them off. Oh no. Oh shoot. No, MechJeb's not fixing it. Man. Yeah, see, the thruster power is turning on when I hit Z. That's bothersome. And for whatever reason, these are not changing together. I guess that only happens in the editor. That's what this is for. Okay, now hitting Z is doing nothing. That's what we want. But the problem is we need the fore aft for later. So it's kind of like this whole throttle thing messing with them is a bit frustrating. Because I don't know how to disable it in MechJeb is all there is to it. We've messed with all the settings that I can find. RCS throttle when engines are offline. I mean, I assume we want that off. Yeah, because that's still turning on the thrusters when I hit Z. The translatron is off, so I don't think that has anything to do with it. The attitude adjustment doesn't have any settings that seem to have anything to do with that. The RCS balancer, we tried both on and off, and neither way seems to cause this to do what we want. Unfortunately. So it seems like the only way to do it is to just turn on the fore aft option, which is weird to me. Anyway, it is time to execute the mission. Let me just fix this rotation because we probably messed with it. Okay. All right, let's collect some science. Let's collect some science. Gonna get science today. Yeah. All right. 10 kilograms. 3.5. A little bit longer. Okay, that one's done. Switch to the next one. Stop you, start you. I wonder if there's a different camera angle that would be less jarring. That's slightly better. Alright, 10 kilograms. It's been a 2-day mission so far. Surprising, it feels like we're like going really long into the future, but this has only been 3 days. So I figured we didn't need to do anything back at the Space Center. Because this is a short enough mission. Alright. Okay, we need to wait for one more lap. Okay, here we go. So I'm thinking... I mean, now could be a good time because I'm going to have connection here and here. So I'm going to quick save because there's a decent chance I screw something up here. And we're going to start with orbital retrograde. Maybe 0 overdrive? No, that definitely doesn't fix it. No idea how all this works. Anyway. Kill rotation. Off. Okay. So throttle's at full. I should be able to just go ahead and do it. Full RCS ahead. Get ullage. Ignite. Decouple. Oh boy. Can get a couple extra delta V if we want, and then decouple. And it's away. Well, here we go. Our little science probe, all grown up and ready to return to Earth. Alright, let's see if this thing returns safely or not. We are in the atmosphere now. It should orient itself as we get closer to like 110 kilometers. It doesn't normally wiggle around this much. I maybe should have spun up a little bit before we did things. I think we'll be okay. Yeah, it seems fairly stable. All right, 70 kilometers is where the fun begins. Here we go. Oh boy, are we gonna be safe or what? I think we will. Oh, hey, we forgot to... This is why we quick save. We forgot to transfer the science to the pod. I was like, wait, we're supposed to be over 300 kilograms. Whoops. This one? Yeah, okay. Transfer data here. There we go. And you're out, and you're out. Okay, okay. Cool, cool, cool. Anyway, orbital retrograde. Let's try this again. And then access our RCS blocks. 4 aft is off. Okay. Kill our rotation here. And then I'll give myself just the smidgenest of spin. Wow, spin is really hard with these. And then I will do Z, fore aft gets turned on. That'll provide ullage. And we're settled. And there we go. And success. This time 336 kilograms. Looks a little better. Okay, time warp, hyper warp. It's all peaceful till the fire starts. Turn into an absolute fireball. $90, $80, $70, $60. Now's when things start to get hot. But if the simulation was correct, we will survive this. All right, 6,000. $5,600. It's heating up. 5,200. Uh-oh. I feel like it's heating up more than it did last time. Uh-oh. We're only like 2 pixels away from explosion. Oh no. Now we're like 1 pixel away. Uh-oh. Oh no! We're down to 3,500 though. It's slowing down. Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh. Can't breathe. Oh my gosh. Wow. That was close. Deep breaths. Deep breaths. Okay. We made it. Assuming the parachute... I don't think parachutes can fail. So, you know, we should be good to go. But, man, that was rough. I'm kind of glad parachutes can't fail. That would just be an annoyance of, like, literally the last step of the mission. I know that realistically they should have a chance to fail, but I think I'm very happy that they don't. You know what I mean? Like, that would be the worst part to fail. You would do this entire mission only to find that the thing craters into the ground at 200 meters a second. Oh my goodness. We made it! We have splashdown! Recover vessel. Normal recovery. Maybe, if it can stop bouncing out of the water. Come on now. There we go. Oh yeah, there it is. Photography 2. Look at all that juicy data, plus biological sample 2. Plus, recovery from Earth orbit gets me another 8.8 science. Now, let's double check. Does this add up? This doesn't add up to 86, does it? 44, 47, 49, 51, 55, 59. We'll call that 62, 63, 64. Yeah. So the extra credits are coming from us completing the photography 1. Because photography 2 gives you credits for photography 1. So if we look at our science under photography regular, which is where? Planetary photography. We should see, yeah, we have a lot more data now for space low than we ever did before. Because that came from the data from photography 2. So desert, tropics, water, we should see that we have these desert, tropics, water, yeah. And see, we got 1.7 data on the shores from photography 2, and therefore this got 1.7. So we were doubling up all of our data, basically. And I'm sadly realizing there's still a lot more data for planetary photography that we could do, but that would be a lot of work. Again. So I'm not going to do that right now, but wow, we have 105 science. Beautiful. And we didn't complete the contract. Damn it. Why not? Shoot. Okay, let me quick save this. Why didn't that count? Why didn't that count? It counted when we simulated it. Did we not have the apo? No, we do. We have the correct apoapsis. Why is that not? Apparently we time warped past it too quickly or something. We need to do one more loop here, I think. Okay, well, I'm gonna do this and I will pause the recording and I'll be right back. Oh, hey, me again. I'm realizing you have to reach the surface velocity with a minimum altitude. And it has to, that's really interesting. It has to be on a suborbital trajectory when you are above 150 kilometers. So that means we're going to have to get creative here. So it has to be when my altitude is that high. So we have to kind of wait until... Well, it's gonna get tricky. Maybe we'll connect to that one. Just barely, but I'm still not at 150. And there's nothing over here. So I might have to wait a couple extra laps. Or maybe we can deorbit right here before our power disappears. Yeah, I'll probably deorbit above this one. We should have enough power to do that. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you gotta really read the fine print on these contracts, man. I thought we had everything good to go, but it has to be suborbital at the same time that you're above 150. At the same time, your speed is high. So now we should be good to deorbit. So I'll pause it now and come back when we're done. Okay. Well, after 2 more attempts, because on the first attempt I forgot to retrieve the science again. Oh my goodness, man, this game. I just can't stop forgetting these things. We succeeded. Beautiful. So that contract's done. We'll recover. We should get our 100 and whatever points or whatever it was. 86.3 and 8.8. Perfect. And now we have all sorts of delicious science. So what do? I think the question is, do we do this blue sky first or this blue sky first? Because we really want more science here to fund... I also need 58 orbital rocketry, I think. We need better rockets. This has LR79, LR89. Has an upgrade for the AJ10, but nothing else. This gives me slightly lighter service modules. Slightly faster building, magnesium fairings, which is nice but not insane. So it's mainly to unlock these nodes. What is that? Oxygen-rich staged combustion. Huh. What's better about this? Ooh, 338 ISP. That's what's better about it. So some of these are getting close to 300. Oh, that one's nice. 334. Anyway, I don't know what I'm doing. You guys know this. That's part of the fun of this series. So let's go with this because I think it's just pretty consistently better. Level 2 battery tanks. Don't know exactly what that unlocks, but we also need lunar probes, so we'll get that done. And then early human spaceflight science, digital communications, tracking station to level 3. We'll do that. Get another avionics upgrade. Just continue to reduce the mass and power usage of everything. And I don't know. I do need to do these rocketries at some point. Okay. Well, we've got a lot of research queued up. We're not going to be done with that, according to this, till November of 1959, so a year and a half from now. That's not as long as I thought it would be, which is nice. But what? I don't know, but what? Let's look at our missions available. And which program do we need to get done? Early Earth observational satellites. So the cosmic ray satellite is going to finish without any help. It's just taking forever. So what we need is magnetometry, infrared radiometry, dedicated Earth imaging, and Cherenkov detection. Those are the 4 missions that we still need to complete. I have to think about the lunar stuff, but we'll get there eventually. Okay, so as far as active, that one's active because we're going to finish that one. That one's almost done. So what is this? Infrared radiometer, orbital perturbation. Oh, that's optional. What's this? Basic film camera, orbit, inclination, return film. So isn't this basically what I just did? And it only needs a basic film camera? It does need a high inclination though. Earth orbit. Apoapsis below 200 kilometers. Inclination between 70 and 100. So we'll go ahead and accept this. And then this one. What? 110%? How does it get 110%? Interesting. So this one has to be in high orbit. Needs to have plenty of solar panels. And it needs to have an infrared radiometer 1 experiment and an early TV camera. Okay. So then, are we researching? We're not. I should probably queue that up. Just in case we need better solar panels. But I mean, science-wise, we're caught up with like where, you know, what year we're in. Anyway, why don't I complete human-rated EDL? What's EDL? Entry, descent, and landing. Got it. So we can get our Mercury heat shield done. Might as well. And then we'll start designing for which mission? Earth imagery satellite. So this should be pretty simple, right? Because all we need is, oh boy, photography 3. Fewer samples. The sample mass is huge. Oh my gosh. Yikes. That's going to be tricky to pull off. The part itself is slightly lighter, but that's not that much better. Anyway, we just need an early film camera. And then we need to return it from orbit. So why don't I... What's the easiest way to do this? Open... Ladybug 1. So this is going to be the Ladybug 2. And we should be able to just modify, first of all, this stupid thing. Force percent, I'm bringing that down to 2. Alright, now this is the part where we can modify quite a bit. So... how heavy is that? 11 kilograms? That's only 2? Yeah, we would probably want a lighter decoupler here. Yeah, Baby Sergeant 1 is fine. Anyway, so we don't need the advanced bio, we don't need the PHO2. We need a basic film camera, which is only... oh. We do need this. It's literally asking us to do the same thing. Well, I'll only take one this time. And we don't need the bio experiment. So that should help, because that's another 60 kilograms. So I'll just take one of these. Like this. I'm worried about now our avionics, though. So we delete those. Move this up here. We will have it... well... yeah, that gives us a lot more delta V, which should give us the polar orbit. But the apoapsis needs to be below... 200. Not periapsis, above. Okay, we're fine. Basically any orbit that's not super eccentric will be fine. So that's all good. That's all good. Everything's good. And now the avionics, we should be able to improve because now this is lighter. We only need 245 kilograms. It's still 93 watts. I would love to improve this. Or maybe I just take enough power to power the whole thing and we say screw solar panels. Is that 93 watts? So a kilojoule runs it for 10 seconds. A megajoule runs it for 10,000 seconds, which is only about 3 hours. So if I took like 10 megajoules, I'd get like 30 hours out of it, which could let it do a couple laps. That's an option. I don't like the idea of not taking a solar panel though. And we don't have the ability to upgrade these yet, right? Yeah, that'll be the next tier. The heat shield I can upgrade. Aha. Okay, so we go from 76 kilograms to 62 kilograms. I'm not sure if it's gonna work the same anymore though, so we're gonna have to test it. Yeah, I mean, more or less this is the same thing we just did, right? Pretty much. Pretty much. I feel like I'm forgetting something though. I don't think so. We'll try the new heat shield because it's lighter. Avionics has 2.5 megajoules of power. Is that too much? No, that's a good amount of time. Especially because the film camera takes power too. The film camera is going to be soaking up 150 watts while it's running. It'll only run at a couple biomes though, because we've already collected a few biomes full. But that'll be good, because that's even more data. And then... and then what? Communication. I could switch to VHF because we're not transmitting science. And then we can go down to like 25 dBm. Yeah, I mean, this all seems fine. I guess I could lose a smidge of the nitrogen, as long as I'm a little careful with that. So let's go to like 90 millimeters. I mean, how much does that actually change our weight? 2 kilograms? Yeah, we'll save 2 kilograms. And then we'll save a little bit here on the aerobie fuel. Let's go down to 120. So 424 instead of It's another 6 kilograms. It all adds up. Come on, 120. There you go. I know I can type it in if I need to. All right, and then you clip onto the bottom of that, and then we have you clipped onto the bottom of this. You clipped on to all of this. And now you're too tall. So let's save the ladybug 2 here. There's a couple things we gotta change. First off, this is bigger than it needs to be. Second off, that's not in the right spot. LOL. That's a little better. How's that? Panels sticking out there. Okay, that's just about right. Now, let's go through our staging, because that was wrong before. So we do that, we do the boosters, we radially decouple, we fire this off, then we decouple it, then we stage the fairings, then we fire the next one off, hot stage, then we decouple that, and then that's the end. And then the rest we do manually. Okay, so that's all good. We've got 9531, which should be enough delta V to get polar. And we will test this real quick, and then in the next mission, we will actually fly it. All we're going to do right now is test the return capability. So, how do I do that? So we save this, and then we do ladybug to test. We save that, and then this is the one that we totally mess up. And we just imagine, what if this was already in orbit? So we simulate orbit. Not circular. I would like 143 by 153. Wait, no, we don't need that anymore. 143 by 143 is fine. Inclination is going to be 85. No, we can make it 75. No reason to go full crazy. And then that should do it. So we simulate that. Our RCS is inside the craft. I wonder if that's going to mess with things. I just realized that kind of problem. Like the RCS is tucked down in the film camera. I guess we'll find out if MechJeb likes that or not. Advanced Sun 270. It seems to be able to control the rotation just fine. All right. So, where's the sun? Oh no, the craft is rotated wrong now? So that has to be 90? Seems like it. Okay. So anyway, this thing now is going to be collecting data. And it will get all sorts of data on the ice caps and other things. Keep running out of electricity, of course. We're basically just testing out the new heat shield right now. This is just to make sure it weighs the proper amount. All right, and that's it. Okay. So now we are needing a station. Where? Maybe that station? Why is it not connecting? Oh, I have no electric charge. Wait, what? What happened to being pointed towards the sun? And we're broken. Oh, there we go. We were rotating. That's what happened to being pointed towards the sun. Oh, this isn't enough to power. Right. Right. Sorry. It's not enough to even power our near-Earth avionics. That's why it's not running. Because this avionics is still taking 93 watts. Just for sake of argument, if we brought it down to the actual weight that this thing is, it would only be 60 watts. And what does the science core or deep space do? If we wanted 2.5 tons of controllable mass, what would that look like? That uses 83 watts, but it can hibernate. But in this case, I don't think we're really going to hibernate. Does science still collect when you're hibernated on avionics? You know, it probably does, so that could be useful. We'd have to tool the whole thing, which it would cost us 17 grand. But that would be kind of nice. How to handle this? Problem is we need such a big dang solar panel. Well, I mainly wanted to see if this thing can deorbit, though. That's the funny part. Like, this isn't even what I was testing. Classic Kerbal Space Program. So we need the output to be... Let's make it a little wider and a little bit longer here. What about after, like, a few days elapsed? Okay. 93... Communication, KOS. Controllable mass, we want it to be like 2.5. Also remove a few sample slots. Those are 5 kilograms each. That's not nothing. I don't think we're gonna get that many slots because we've already fully collected. Well, I can actually check. Haven't I already fully collected a couple? Filter by current vessel. I have fully collected 3, and there's only 10 biomes on Earth. So that means I'd get at most 7. So that means I can bring this down to 7 slots. So there's 15 kilograms saved right there. That's huge. Huge beans right there. And then that makes me feel confident about making this even longer, just to guarantee we have enough power. control this avionics. This whole thing still only weighs 28 kilograms, even with this stupid size. Yeah. Okay, so we've got this big old solar panel. And then that should work a little better. Bada bing, bada boom. Simulate. Simulate. Okay, so then first thing to do is sun 90 execute. Open these up, turn off fore and aft. Wait for the rotation to finish. Okay. And then we warp. And there's the sun. Praise the sun! Looks like it's shielding itself with that solar panel. Alright, and then that should be collecting data. So we'll go ahead and fast forward a bit here. Okay, so data is collected. Now we should be charging up our power. Perfect. And then we're looking for a place to get control. There we go. So now I should be good to deorbit. So let's try it. Orbital retrograde. Turn throttle back on, but fore aft is still off here until we're facing the correct direction. We've learned our lesson. We've also learned our lesson about transfer data here. Finally, I did it right on the first attempt. LOL. Alright, so now we are not facing the right direction. What's happening? What's happening? It's burning nitrogen, but I'm not hearing the sound. What's going on here? MacJab, are you drunk? What? I'm gonna turn off smart translation. I don't know. I think that's... I think that was causing issues somehow. Yeah, there we go. Now it's working properly. And now I'm almost out of power, so we gotta move quick here. So fore aft on. That gets ullage going automatically because throttle's up. Am I good to stage? I'm good to stage. Uh-oh. Oops. Well, that's different than what I was anticipating happening. So we do get stuck in there. So I may need to offset them a bit. But let's just make sure the heat shield can support us for re-entry. It's the main thing we care about right now. See if it stabilizes itself as well. Oh no, our periapsis didn't. We might burn up because we're at such a shallow angle. We lost a lot of our delta V somehow in that exchange of not being disconnected. Oh, I guess it's because it was dragging the film camera with us, so we were losing delta V from that. That's what was going on. All right. It looks like a top hat. It's spinning around like a top hat. This is funny. It should start orienting probably when we get to about 100 kilometers. It's going to be a little crazy for a while. There's just no air up here. All right. There we go. Now it's starting to focus in here on a retrograde direction. All right, 85. There we go. So now we're within what, like 10 degrees of retrograde? Okay, so it seems stable. That's good. And then will this heat shield be enough? The ablator is burning off. Oh, easy. More than enough. Sweet. Okay, so we did more. I wonder what happens when the ablator runs out. Does it turn into a heatsink style, or does it blow up sooner when the ablator runs out? I'm not sure about that. Let's also make sure the parachute still saves us here. But yeah, we'll probably call this the end of the episode, because it's already been a long one. But the Ladybug 2 seems like it's going to work properly. A couple more things to check, but that'll do it. So, as always, thank you guys for watching. I've enjoyed this episode of RP1, and as always, let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next one.